Author's POV. 3 years ago, a first-year college student was running through the rain, his clothes drenched and sticking to his skin. He had tried calling his driver, but the call didn't go through. With no other option, he decided to take the bus. His footsteps splashed through puddles, his breath heavy as he hurried toward the stop. Then, suddenly, he collided with someone. He nearly lost his balance, but before he could hit the ground, strong hands grabbed him and steadied him. "I'm sorry," he mumbled breathlessly before continuing his desperate run, rain soaking him to the bone. The man he had bumped into stood still, watching him disappear into the storm. He felt his heart skip a beat, as if something had struck him deeply. His eyes fell to the ground, where a blue handkerchief lay. He bent down, picked it up, and held it in his hand. Inside a warm home, the scent of cake filled the air. "Happy birthday, baby!" Jin's voice was filled with affection as he handed over a beautifully wrapped gift. "Ioma, I'm not a baby anymore," Taehyung groaned, pouting slightly. "You'll always be my baby, Taehyung." "You can't change that," Jin teased, ruffling his son's hair. Namjoon chuckled from across the room. "Ha ha 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 ha, just let your Ioma be, Taehyung. He probably misses having a baby." "Quiet, Namjoon. You'll be sleeping on the couch later." Jin shot back playfully before turning back to Taehyung. "Baby, I have a special gift for you." That was the day his mother gifted him the café. A place he would soon fall in love with just as much as the boy he saw again. The café had become Taehyung's world. Every morning he managed the shop with passion, greeting customers and perfecting his craft. But nothing excited him more than seeing him, the boy who unknowingly stole his heart. His heart raced every time the boy walked in. He memorized his routine, the time he usually arrived, the table he preferred, and even the small details, like how he always ordered the same drink. Taehyung found excuses just to be near him. He worked at the counter so he could talk to him. He cleaned the tables just so he could stand beside him. He even brewed his coffee personally, pouring his silent feelings into every cup. He didn't just like him anymore. He loved him. One Sunday afternoon, Taehyung saw him again. He quietly observed him, watching his every move. Once the boy left, he walked toward the table where he had been sitting. As he gathered the empty cups and plates, something unusual caught his attention. A tissue. Curious, he picked it up, intending to throw it away. But then his eyes caught the writing on it. His breath hitched. His heart raced. "I like the guy who gave me water yesterday." The note was signed, Jungkook. Taehyung's hands trembled. He reread the message again and again, making sure he wasn't imagining things. It was real. Jungkook liked him too, but just when he thought their story was about to begin, Jungkook suddenly stopped coming to the cafe. Days passed. Then a week. Taehyung couldn't take it anymore. He knew where Jungkook lived. He had followed him home, late at night a few times just to make sure he got home safely. When he arrived at the house, his heart pounded with unease. "Sorry, but Jungkook is in the hospital," the maid informed him. His world tilted. Without hesitation, he rushed to his car, calling in a favor to gather information. He didn't sleep that night, too worried about what had happened. As soon as he had the details, he drove straight to the hospital. And when he saw Jungkook lying there, pale, weak, unmoving, he felt like his heart was breaking. He had missed him so much. Without thinking, he leaned down and pressed a soft kiss against his lips. For the first time, he was this close to Jungkook. For the first time, he let himself accept what he had always known. He was in love with him. Jungkook's POV, present day. I couldn't believe my eyes. He gave me flowers. My favorite. I looked down at the bouquet of tulips in my hands, my heart pounding. How did you know? I asked. Taehyung smirked. I have my ways, babe. Babe? Wait. Did he just call me babe? Taehyung, Shh, he whispered. Hear me out first. I swallowed hard, my mind struggling to keep up. March 2nd, 2018, he started. 3 years ago, a boy running through the rain bumped into me. My eyes widened. No way. He almost fell, but I caught him. Number? It can't be. I remembered that day. He said sorry and ran off, but he left something behind. My breath hitched. My blue handkerchief. It was you? I whispered, tears threatening to spill. Taehyung nodded. Thanks to my Iyoma, I got the café. And there, I saw you again. My vision blurred. I had no idea. I did everything just to be near you, he continued. I brewed your favorite coffee. I cleaned your table. I worked the counter just to talk to you. I was always there. I couldn't stop my tears anymore. My chest tightened with emotion. One day, I saw a tissue on your table, he said softly. I sucked in a sharp breath. The tissue. You read it? I choked out. Taehyung smiled. Yes, I did. And you know what? It made me the happiest person alive because... Stop it. I covered my face, embarrassed beyond words. He chuckled. And God, he was adorable. I was so happy that the boy I liked me too. Wait, what? You liked me? I stammered. No. My heart sank. I loved you, he corrected, his eyes burning into mine. My mind spun. I wanted to believe this was real, but... Then who was he hugging that day during my confession? Liar! I blurted out. What? Taehyung looked genuinely confused. I heard my family gasp behind me. My emotions were a mess. You're a liar, I repeated. Who did you hug that day when I confessed? Huh? For a moment, he just stared at me before realization dawned on his face. You mean that day? He asked, a small laugh escaping his lips. You saw us? He's laughing? I felt my frustration rise, until he turned and called out a name. Lisa? A teenage girl stepped out from behind him. I blinked. Wait. She looked familiar. The café. She was from the café. Lisa, meet Jungkook, your future brother-in-law. Taehyung said with a grin. My jaw dropped. What? Taehyung cleared his throat and knelt down in front of me. My breath caught. Number impossible. This can't be... Jungkook, he said, looking up at me with so much love it made my chest ache. Will you marry me? I didn't even have time to process before the words slipped from my lips. Yes. Suddenly my family erupted in cheers, celebrating like they had been expecting this all along. I turned to them, shocked. Wait, you're into this? Mom? Dad? Of course, baby. My father chuckled. Do you think we'd let you end up with someone you didn't love? I stared at them in disbelief. My mother smiled. Taehyung told us everything. We saw the tissue, recognized your handwriting, and agreed immediately. Tears welled up in my eyes. I had been so blind. As I threw myself into their arms, I realized one thing. I had loved Taehyung all along. And now, I was finally his.